All right, let's get started. So the basic idea behind today's lesson is key changes. So in most of my lessons, we're playing in one key for the most part. And when you're playing in one key, it's really easy to play over that because you could basically pick a single scale and it's really hard to hit a wrong note. You may not be playing perfect. You may not be hitting all the chord tones and hitting the right notes over each chord. But nevertheless, when you play over a bunch of chords that are all in the same key, you can pick one scale and kind of go for it and kind of get away with it. In this lesson, the idea here is that I'm playing over a rock track that has a very distinct key change. So why don't I talk about that first? The song is basically E minor and C. I'm playing power chords in the backing track, so it's something like this. So you hear that for a couple bars, 4 bars actually. So 1 bar of E, a bar of C, a bar of E, a bar of C. And then after that, you hear this very distinct key change. I'm going up to C sharp and then to A. So you can basically view this as a key change from E minor to C sharp minor. Maybe you could consider that E major. Doesn't matter. The idea is you're changing to a completely different key. So when you have this situation, you can't just pick a scale and play a bunch of notes and have it sound good. When you get to that key change, you have to play a completely different set of notes. So I'm going to go over a few licks to talk about what I'm playing over each one of those sections. Then I'm going to show a lick that shows how I'm transitioning from one key to another key. I'm going to spare all the really extremely fast licks. If you want the tabs for all that, you can go to my site and you can get all the interactive tabs and downloadable tabs there in the backing track. Here I'm going to talk about more the strategy of changing from one key to another key and talk about licks that I'm playing over each one of these sections. So let's go over this first lick here. This first lick, I'm playing over the section where I'm going from E minor to C. So I'm in that E minor key. So let me play this through the lick one more time and then we can talk about it. It goes like this. So I'm playing completely in the key of E minor basically here. And I'll talk about the chord tones. So if you've seen some of my recent lessons, I've been talking a lot about chord tones and being able to pick the right notes to play by understanding the chords that are underneath those notes. So let's take this first part where I'm going from E in the first bar to C. If I play this E chord here, notice that that's 4th fret on the 3rd string there. That is in the E chord. It's the 5th of E. It's the B note. So I'm using this E chord right here. This is 6, 4, 5 on the 4th, 3rd, and 2nd string. I'm using that as my little visualization to understand the notes that I want to hit over E. So that's what I'm doing there. So I'm landing on E. And this next part, still playing in the key of E minor, I do this. So that little hammer-on pull-off is just 2-4-2 hammer-on pull-off. I'm doing a downstroke on the 5 and the 4 string, upstroke on the 2 on the 3rd string, and then 5-2 on the 4th string. Now for this note that I land on, I'm on the C chord now. So that's E. And that part right there, I'm landing on the E chord, or C chord rather. Well, notice your C chord right here, right? Everybody knows this C chord. It's probably the first chord you learn on the guitar. Notice where your second finger is on that chord. It's on the E note. It's on the second fret of the 4th string. That's the major third of C. So that little note fits very nicely over the C. So then we're back to the E. So this next part is over the E. That works really well over the E because, let's break it down. This first part, we're hammering up to the G note. You'll notice that if I'm playing, say, the E chord, E minor chord right here, that's 7 on the 5th, 5 on the 4, 4 on the 3, 5 on the 2. Notice that note right there. That's the minor third of E. So we're back up to the B note. So we already know that that goes with E very well because it's the 5th of E. And then we do this. Slide up to the 7th fret there and then back to the 4th fret. Well, this 7th fret, that is the flat 7 of E. Also goes well with E minor. A little bit of a different sound. It's outside of that 1, 3, 5 set of basic notes, but nevertheless goes with the E minor chord very well. So far we got this. And then the next part, we're going to transition to the C, and that part sounds like this. Pretty cool sounding. So the reason why this sounds a little cool is because we're actually getting outside of the E minor scale when we're playing over the C here. So when we go from 2 to 5, that is definitely in the key of C because that's the 3rd and the 5th of C. Back to this chord. Right? But this last note, I'm bending up the 2nd fret, but only up a half step. Well, notice what that gives us. That gives us the B flat. That is not in the key of E minor. That's not in the E minor scale. The E minor scale has the B natural note in it. So it's this versus this. But in relation to the C, this B natural is the flat 7 of C. So what this does is give the C chord a C dominant 7 sound. If I were to play the chord, it would sound like this. Your basic C7 chord. So I'm playing outside of the E minor scale, but I'm doing it over the C chord in such a way where I'm making that C chord sound really unique. So that's the lick. This one, I was playing over the E minor to C section. The next lick, I'm going to go over the C sharp to A section. The last lick, I'm going to show a lick where I transition from the C sharp to the A section back to the E minor section. So you can see how it works when we transfer between those keys in a single solo. So that's it for the first lick. Let's go through it one more time at a slow speed. Okay, so this next lick, I'm playing over the C sharp to A part, C sharp to A part of the song. And this is where if you started playing the song, you just decided to start playing in E minor, this is where it's going to start to sound really bad. If you stay in the scale of E minor, you have to transfer to a different scale to make this sound good. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm basically using the C sharp minor scale because I'm going to the C sharp to the A. I'm choosing the C minor scale, C minor pentatonic, really. So if you were to play this just without a backing track, it sounds kind of weird because I'm playing an E minor. Doesn't sound like they go together at all, and they really don't because they're completely separate changes. But the point is that this really makes a lot more sense when you have the backing track. It's going to sound really bad, again, if you play the E minor scale once you get to this set of chord changes. So this lick starts here. We're basically, imagine this C minor pentatonic scale right here, starting on the 4th fret, 4-7, 4-6, 4-6, and then 5-7, and then 4-7. That's basically what we're playing. So climbing up that little scale, starting on the 4th fret on the 4th string, we have this. And look at the note we land on. Right when we get to that C sharp minor scale, we're landing on the minor 3rd of C sharp minor, the E note here. So, and also notice where I start this lick. When I start playing this lick, I don't get to the C sharp minor chord until I get to this E note right here. Now, the point of that is that I am playing, I'm anticipating the key change. I am already playing in the scale of C minor before the C minor chord comes up. So that's a big takeaway here. I'm anticipating the chord change. The C chord is still going and I'm playing this. And then I don't get to the C sharp minor chord until I hit this note. Continuing on with the lick. And then 6-4 on the 3rd string. Bend up on the 7th fret on the 2nd string. You can do multiple bends like I do in the video. So that part is this. That's pull off 7-5, and then when we get to the A chord, it's this. The note I land on when the A chord comes up is this F sharp, not technically in the A chord, but nevertheless the next two notes, those are obviously in the A chord. Picture this A chord right here. 7, 6, 5, that one. That 6 and the 5 are obviously in the A chord. So that's it. That's the entire lick. Again, we're playing this one over the C sharp minor to A part of the song. So the takeaways are, I'm anticipating the chord change. I'm starting the new scale before the chord comes, and I can get away with that because once that new chord comes around, it makes everything right and it sounds good. And then I'm hitting these chord tones on the C sharp minor and the A chord. So that's it. Let's play through this lick one more time at a slow speed. So for this last lick, what I'm doing here is I am showing you transitioning from the C sharp to A bars back to the E minor. So this one, I'm kind of tying it all together. I'm showing how we're not only playing over the C sharp minor and the A chord again, but how I'm transitioning smoothly back to the E minor chord. This is a good example of that. Again, you want all these super fast technical licks and all that, go to my site, you can get the tabs. We're talking about theory and concepts for playing over key and chord changes here. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna bend up on the 14th fret, and obviously I need to get some new frets on this guitar because I get a dead 14th fret, unfortunately. But bend up, Basic blues stuff there. So bend up on the 14th, bend down, pull off to the 12, and then 14, 12 on the first string. And this is over the A chord, right? We're transitioning from the C sharp A minor section to the E chord. So this first part of the lick is all over that A chord. The last note here, we go into the E. So that obviously fits very well with the A chord, because look where we're at, 14th fret on the second string. That's your A chord. It's just your open A chord, 12 frets up. So and then we do this. So that's 14, downstroke or upstroke on the 13, then 12, 14, downstroke, upstroke, downstroke on the 12 on the first string. So we got this. And then we have 14 downstroke, 13 upstroke, downstroke, upstroke on the 12, 14. So that part again is this. Cool blues lick there. So all together we have this. And this next note is the key. Look where I'm playing here. 15th fret bent up. That is the part where the E minor chord comes back in. This 15th fret bent up is the E note. So this is a really good example of a key change, because we're picking a note that's right in the neighborhood of where we're already playing on the neck. We're right here. It makes that transition to the new key very smooth, and we're picking a note that's right in the neighborhood of that note. It's easy to play. It sounds smooth. We're not making this awkward transition to some other place on the neck to find and hunt for another E note. It's one fluid lick all the way through, making that key change from E minor to C to C sharp minor to A. So that's it. That's the lick, and obviously from there I go into some crazy heavy pull-offs and technique stuff. Again, you can get that all on my site if you're interested in that. But I hope you got a lot out of this. I hope you got some good concepts and have some basic ideas about how to approach a song with key changes.